Hey, hey, hey! Guess what day it is? It is Wednesday. Yay! I think. Is it Wednesday? I think so. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. And guess what? It is episode 8 of Lessons and Legacies. And it's a special one, too, because not only is it the 8th episode, and we'll talk about the number 8 here in a minute, but I have an incredibly special, amazing, beautiful guest that I cannot wait to introduce to you. So without further ado, again, my name is Melissa Price. This is Lessons and Legacies. This is the brand new show mirrored off my brand new book, which is Lessons We've Learned, Legacies of Life. And today we have my very good friend to help us dive into lessons in faith. So here she is.
Hey,
Say
hey.
hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm digging that hair, man. This is Brittany Thomas. She just did her hair. She just got her hair done all blue, and I love it.
Right.
I tried blue hair one time, and for whatever reason, my hair does not like to hold red, and it does not like to hold blue or pink. But I did the blue, and it like literally all washed out in the shower, and it was like this kind of blue, like your blue that you got rocking right now, and it turned into like mermaid tail green. It was very green. So purple is the only color that I can rock in my hair, and I think maybe for January, maybe I may go back to that. Who knows?
Right.
Thank you for being here. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, what you're all about, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. My name is Brittany Thomas. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, 24 years old. I am a new published author of my brand new book called I'm Living My Blessed Life with Cerebral Palsy. You can go and get your copy at britneysbeads.company.site.
Yes.
Site. Author, speaker, prayer warrior, all of that.
Yes, and this is why I'm so glad that you're here to talk about faith again. For those of you who don't know Brittany, this may be your first experience with Brittany. I've actually never got to meet Brittany in person, like physically in person, but we have talked much on the phone, and we've done lots of little lives and stuff like that, ladies' nights in and whatnot. But I will share with all of you that Brittany, my goodness, she is such a faith warrior. She, first of all, her story, which you're going to be able to hear some of today, boy, she's gotten through life on faith. And I'll tell you, she does nothing but spread that faith and light up the world with it. She is not selfish with her faith. She shares it. And so she's a prayer warrior, right? Brittany, you're a prayer warrior. What does that mean? What is a prayer warrior?
Okay, so a prayer warrior basically is my position. It's basically what you call a intercessor, which means you intercede on other people's behalf. You pray for people because other people can pray for themselves, but they ask people like myself to pray for them because they feel like I don't know God might respond to them a little quicker, or they just might ask me to intercede on their behalf. Um, and yeah, the Bible talks about that when two or three come together and touch and agree, it shall come to pass anyway. So it's better with more than one person.
Yes, and there's power in the numbers of prayer, right? You know, when people gather and pray, the more prayers that are out there, I feel like the more powerful they are. I'm grateful to actually be a part of. I do have prayer warriors in many circles of my friends. I didn't really understand or know what that was until a couple years ago, honestly. Um, and so when you pray, do you wait for people to ask? I've seen you do it before where you've put it up on Facebook and said, I am praying today. If you've got your name or your cause or whatever it is, put it in the comments and you're going to diligently pray over those people. Is that right?
Yeah, I do that sometimes, but I have what you call like the gift of the prophetic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, I'm a dreamer, visionary. I operate a little bit in the prophetic. So most of the time, God shows me what to pray for. But yes, I do get prayer requests in my inbox and messages of people asking me to pray for them, and I'll just take that list and I'll go down it and pray for whatever they need.
That is super cool. I love that. And if people did want to have you pray for them, how would they go about finding you?
They can just go on my Facebook page, which is Brittany Thomas here on Facebook, and then message me. Of course, it shows your name. I would need to know what I'm praying for, what I'm praying about. Yeah, being specific is very important when it comes to that. So I know who I'm praying for, what I'm praying about, and I need to pray for that person for some type of clarity and direction.
And what is your, if people wanted to email you, what is your email? I'm putting it in on the bottom here.
Okay, it's my email is bl thomas
B-O
bl
B-L Thomas. Okay.
1996 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. All right. Check it for me. I'm putting it up right now. Make sure I did it right.
uh
B-L-T Thomas. Or wait, it's B-L Thomas?
yeah.
B.L. Thomas, 1996 at Gmail. So
Yeah.
yes, if anybody wants to send Brittany some prayer requests, and if you don't happen to find her on Facebook or whatever, you can contact her. It's scrolling on the bottom below at B.L. Thomas 1996 at gmail.com, and she will be very happy to pray for you, pray over your needs and concerns. And I thank you profusely for doing that. I think there needs to be more of that in the world, for sure.
I'm actually really grateful for you because you always tell me that you and your kids pray for me.
We have many times. We do often, actually. The kids have grown very
Yeah.
fond of Brittany.
I hear you guys praying for me all the time. So I really appreciate that. Praying for me and my healing and for me to get up out this wheelchair and for, my muscles to be strengthened and stuff. I think that's faith for you guys to pray for me each and every day.
And we love you, and that's why we do. And speaking of praying too, there's another cool thing I have to point out about you and your faith and the way you do it. Oops. I usually have that on silent. Sorry. I like when you do your prayers and your posts and stuff, you put it out there like it's already been given. Like,
Yeah.
thank you, God, for healing me. I will walk. I will be married.
Yeah.
Thank you, God,
And
for
I
this.
think
Even
and
though
I
you
think
haven't gotten it
that's
yet,
what faith
you speak
is.
it like you have. And that's a certain kind of power in
Yeah.
that prayer, you know?
Yeah. That's what faith is. Speaking it before you see it actually manifesting. And I put on Facebook the other day, and I know you saw it. I think you hearted it or something. And I said maybe the reason why it hasn't manifested yet is because you stopped believing God to do it. you know,
That's true. Yep.
during this pandemic, a lot of people don't have faith. And they say, oh, I'm ready for this year to be over. Me, I'm like, it's like 30 something more days, 20 something more days left. Like, I know what my God can do in 20, 30 days. Don't give up on it yet. Don't say you want 2020 the end yet, because he can still do miracles. That's faith.
That and nobody's guaranteed tomorrow either. So, I hear that too. And people are like, I can't wait for this year to be over. I mean, honestly, this is the hardest time of the year for me. It's December. I miss my family. My whole family's back in Michigan, not in North Carolina where I am. But also it's Santa Claus time of the year, and my kids
Right.
are still, so finances and whatnot. Oh, and the last minute shopping, and are we going to be able to make it? It's a struggle this time of year. And then we have pandemic on top of it, where even, okay, I can't go see my family. I have all my friends here, but we can't go socialize and visit and whatnot. But
Right.
even so, with all this going on, yeah, it's easy for us to want to rush through and get to the end and like fresh start. Come on, January. But what if January 1st never comes and today's your last day? Be
Right.
grateful for it. Have faith things will be better. Live in the moment. Be present in the moment. Appreciate what you have, even if you're feeling like grief, be grateful and appreciate that you're able to feel it and experience it instead of
Right.
non-existent,
And
you know?
and I say an example of faith was you doing this show. Because when me and you used to talk about it and you said, no, I'm not doing that.
I know.
I'm
Well,
scared,
yeah,
but
faith.
you
Hmm.
stepped out. You stepped out even though you didn't know where the resources was gonna come from and how you were gonna do it. But you trusted God and you stepped out there and you did it. And I'm proud of you for having
Thank
faith.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, so I like that you brought that up. Because faith can come in many forms too. You know,
Mhm.
we obviously the most obvious is your higher power. You know, I believe in God. People have different names for what they believe in, but you know,
Right.
that's I think the one thing people think of first when they hear faith is where's my belief? Where's my source? You know,
Hmm.
but faith, you can have faith in yourself. Self faith, super important, right? Faith
Yeah.
in your friends and family to be there for you, to pick you up, to be that shoulder. You know, faith in your job, your choices for as
Faith
far
in
as
your
career
career.
goes, your business, what you're doing, faith in
Yeah.
what you're doing. Faith comes in so many different packages, you know.
Yeah.
And well, Stephanie, say hi to Stephanie. Stephanie Morris is on. She says, you both are such bright lights, shining in spite of the challenges. Yes, we try to be. We try to be. And
Yes.
it's thanks to people like you, Stephanie, and Precious. Precious is on. She says, hey, Queens.
Hey.
It's people like you guys that lift us up, that give us faith in ourselves, that show up and give us
Right.
those likes and hearts and shares and loves and all that, that make us feel like, oh, okay, what I'm doing does matter. Oh, people do see my light and not the weird side of me, you know?
Right.
So
And
you
when
guys,
I
we
see
thank
you
you
and
for
Precious
showing
doing
up.
y'all thing, when I see you and Precious doing y'all thing, I'm like, man, I can accomplish anything if these two can, show up 7 days a week and do shows. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
You can, girl. Listen. Well, Precious coached me on how to do that because I said the same thing. I said the same thing in the beginning. I'm like, I got to homeschool my kids. I never finish all my chores. I never get all the homeschooling done. I never get the bills all done. I never get it all done in a day. How the heck in the world am I going to start a show for real?
Right.
You know? But
And
she
see,
taught me, Precious taught
the
me how to
thing
time
about me
manage, you
is
know?
I'm such a morning person.
Oh, are you? Shoot. I trade
Yeah,
places
so
with you any day. I'm a night girl.
I'm just like, okay, I gotta get it done in the morning or else it won't get done.
Oh yeah. So we were talking about faith coming in many different package forms, correct? I thought I didn't even mean to like open it up that way, but I was like, oh, that's kind of a good segue here. Let's talk about your beads because that is faith that comes in a very nice reminder, memorable form there. Right
Oh,
now, I've got my dream plan execute set and my favorite, my inspire beads on. Tell them about the beads, how you make them, why you make them, and then show us off some of the good stuff you got for Christmas.
okay. Well, I basically what I do, my company name is Brittany Speeds. And the reason I started this business when I was 16, and
Way to go.
the reason why I started this business is because it was hard for me to find a job, and I said, Lord, what am I gonna do? Because I want to make my own money. And um it happened just like this book happened. Everything with me starts out as a dream. uh so I was asleep one night and I had a dream, and I love jewelry anyway. I'm always wearing my silver jewelry and different things like that. So I was like, I might as well make jewelry.
Right.
So then I looked up the beads, and I've been doing it ever since. And I had started and stopped because I wasn't seeing that much improvement. But now I've been going strong for like, I think 3 years now, but I've been doing it a total of 7 years.
Wow. Wow. So you started the beads at 16?
Yeah. Hmm.
Jeez Louise, I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
had no idea. And so how did you feel when you started putting it out there? Well, you didn't do it on an e-commerce store, did you? Because you just started that this past year, right?
Yeah, I just started that this year.
So how
Um,
did you get them out there before? And like, what did you feel? I know it had to be faith to put your product out there and be like, I hope people
yes,
like it and see it and receive it, you know?
yeah. During that time, to be honest, I don't think that I had enough faith to push it enough. I
Mm.
don't. I mean, I started out a little bit, and then I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to see as quick as and then I stopped. So, it took me a lot of faith to start back. I noticed that I wanted to start back because I was just having to rely on. I wanted to have my own, and I was like, I'm about to start back. It took me a while to get going again, but I was like, once I start this time, I'm not stopping. So it took a lot of faith to get it back off the ground because let me be honest with you, this pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to me because when I was even trying to sell the beads out in public, it was hard for me to even make $10.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody online shopping, man, it's blowing up, and
I know. See, it's
all
all
the
about the timing, right? And that's God's timing. Another thing you got to have faith for and trust that it's going to work out when He has intended it to, you know?
yeah. And that's another thing. If I'm being transparent, like I have faith when it comes to certain things, but certain things I'm just like, I don't, I don't know. But then a scripture comes to mind. It says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen." So
Ah, I love that. I love
the
that. Is a good
things
scripture verse.
that you hope for and believe for, even if you don't see it. And I forgot where that scripture came from, but I remember the verse.
I know. I remember it too. I remember that one from church, actually. And
Yeah.
that is true. And so, what you do with these beads, I love the beads specifically, not only because they're stylish and they look cool, but
Mhm.
the messages that you put on there.
Right.
Everything you do, I feel like, is centered around love and faith. Like I said, my bracelets here say inspire.
Mhm.
That's the pink and silver and black. And then this came as a set. She does sets and she asked me, what color? What color do you want? What kind of, she does them customs too.
Mhm.
And you have plenty on your site already made. But if you do want a custom one, all you got to do is contact her. My other one is dream, plan, and execute. I mean, what powerful, awesome messages. I know you have many. What are some of the other bracelets that you have on your store?
I have the Drink Plan Execute, which is very popular,
Popular, yeah.
and now I had a while back. I had the Push Pray Praise bracelets that were very popular. Those like all of the bracelets that
Purpose driven. Stephanie says she's got her purpose driven bracelet. That's one of her favorites.
yeah, Purpose Driven has been selling a lot lately.
Probably because of the year. Probably because of the year. I'm telling you. I think by the end of this year, everybody has woken up to the idea that we all have a purpose. We've all been putting this, quarantine pot together, and we've all had to figure out ways to new creative ways to make it work.
Right.
I love the beads, and so people can find those at Brittany's store. It's scrolling at the bottom there. It's brittany'sbeads.company.site. Again, plenty to look at. Show us the Christmas ones. You showed me Christmas ones earlier.
Oh, here's one of them. It says Jolly.
Oh, I love that. What colors? That's red, green, and gold.
Yeah, red, green,
I love it.
gold. They're all red, green, and gold. And then I have,
I'm gonna go get me one of those today. I'm writing that down.
and then I have a red and green one with red letters. It says snow.
Ah,
Uh,
Jolly and Snow. And those are posted? Are those posted on your store?
yeah.
Cool. You can be getting a cash app from me here after the show.
And And this one is gonna sell. This one has pound 12, pound 25 for 12.25 Christmas.
Very cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know, the cool thing about the beads too, and it's not just, again, the way they look, it's not even just the messages, but I'll tell you that these do pack a giant amount of love and energy on them. You can feel the love that Brittany puts into these when she makes them. You can feel the prayer that she puts into these when she makes them. They really are powerful, powerful, powerful beads. And I'm grateful that I have mine and I need more.
This last one says cheer,
Cheer.
and it's got the red letters on it.
I love it.
So I've already sold two. I have four left, and they're great stocking stuffers, last minute
Heck yeah.
gifts,
Mm-hmm.
last minute shopping. So if you guys want these, just let me know and I can get them.
Brittany'sBeads.company.site. And she's going to have less than 4 left after we get done here. So if you want them, you better get them before I do. Otherwise, I'm sure she'll be able to whip up some more before the holidays.
Yeah.
She's all skill and talent here, this one. So Danny Murphy is on. He says, good afternoon. I have to let you know, Danny Murphy is joining us all the way from Maryland. And he is the one that did all the photography in my book. And he's also going to be coming on next Tuesday, and we are going to be talking about faith with him. So he's going to be your counterpart for next week.
Awesome.
And Stephanie says she also has the Dream Plan Execute beads. And she says that that love and the energy is packed and it's powerful in your beads.
Thank you.
So I would love to. Now, we were talking in the green room before the show about this little ditty here. This little ditty, this masterpiece. I have to say, I'm so proud of you for writing this book. I'm living my blessed life with cerebral palsy. Yeah. I have shared this book with my children, all except the last chapter, because there's some sex talk in there and they're still a little too young for that. But I did share the rest of it with them. And I have to say, I told you earlier, I'm a waterhead. I do get emotional, but it's usually when I'm like seeing something, like I cry at all the kids' movies and, but reading doesn't normally take me there because I'm in a quiet space in my mind and I can process it slowly and it's private and whatever. But I have wept reading this book.
Oh my gosh.
And I think part of the reason why is because I know you, you know what I mean? Like, I know what a spirit you are. I know the gift that you are. So to have gone through the chapters of this book that are the story of your life and be part of your story, to understand the things that you had to battle with and go through and deal with. Like, boy, I thought you had some faith before I read the book. And I was like, oh my gosh, this queen can move mountains. Like, I don't even know if I pale in comparison to your mountain faith that you have. So in her book here, she's got, let's see, what is it? 6 chapters. The first chapter is in the beginning. The second one is all about her journey in middle school. The third one is bullying, which got me. That girl that whacked you, boy. Did my cheeks started flushing. I got pissed. I got pissed when I read that part, slammed the book down, and I was like, I'm going to call Brittany. Like, who would do such a horrible thing, Yeah. And then also in your chapter, you went through, as far as the bullying goes, it wasn't just kids that were bullying you through school. It was, you got flack from teachers and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was shocked. That adults would put any child through that. It just, that stuff angers me with the bullying.
Right.
And then
I think bullying is something that everybody can relate to. Everybody.
I was bullied. I was bullied as a kid too. And I was very shy and I was poor. I was poor growing up. So in my younger years, like I would be having the clothes that was not fitting me proper or maybe had some holes in it and this and that. Like we went through a period in our lives growing up where we were getting like food from the church and the only Christmas tree decorations we had were popcorn on a string and church donations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I got bullied in school because I was less fortunate. And it took me a while to get through that. And I was shy and I had no self confidence and all that stuff until probably I got into my last 2 years of high school, I think is where my confidence started to come through. But I went through all those years in school struggling and dealing with that as well. So that hit me. That hit me in that chapter.
Right.
I was shocked though. Like, what kind of things did the teachers do? What were they doing? I know you mentioned like it was like you needed extra time and extra things to be able to learn, and
It
so
was
that there was
more
times you
so
felt like a
like
burden.
it was more so like I have cerebral palsy, so I have like a starter reflex. So sometimes if I might hear a loud noise or I might like jerk, like jump
Hmm.
or whatever. So like the teachers would like purposely try to like knock on the door or do something really loud to try to make me jump and lose focus.
Really?
Yeah. Um
Now, see, like my eyes are welling up with tears now hearing that. Like,
yeah.
who does that? You're a
Right.
teacher, for God's sakes. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know how far you can scar somebody with a single action. You know, how many times you had gone through that. And I don't know how many years it took for you to get over those
Right.
experiences, but I know the ones I went through took me years.
Man, I'm just now getting to a point. You know, like when you inspire me every day and all that, and you say you are special. I'm just now getting to a point where I can embrace that and look at myself and love myself. Like I used to be like mad at God for create me how I am, but now I live my life with no apologies, and that's why this book is appropriate. I'm living my blessed life with cerebral palsy.
Hmm.
Period.
And so then after the bullying chapter, the fourth chapter, you go into your high school journey. And
Mhm.
then the fifth chapter is on to college, and the sixth chapter is dating. So you really get the full glimpse of Brittany's journey in this. And I felt like I was going through it with you when I read this, honestly.
What was your favorite part? Your favorite part of
I
reading?
wrote notes down actually because there was some things, like I said, I wanted to talk to you about. The one I had bookmarked the bully chapter because I was so frustrated and aggravated and really pissed when I read that. I'm like, I cannot believe someone would do that to my Brittany. And
Yeah,
especially like little Brittany,
yeah,
you're still little.
yeah.
You're like
That
12
that
years younger than me. So you're still kind of like,
yeah.
you're still a peanut, but like, who would do that to
And
a kid? Oh
this
my God.
this right
Uh,
here is true faith and true deliverance because I can laugh about it now. I
Dan,
can.
Danny says, trust me, God will take care of those teachers.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Hmm.
Precious says, she says that her and her husband Ron both enjoyed your book over there. She loved your transparency and resilience. And I actually have been to the Pauling's house a few times since they got your book, and I heard it straight from Chef Ron himself. And
Man,
Precious, like he don't even like to read, but he read that book and he read it twice and was sitting over there going through it again. He loved it. So
that's what I
this is a
said.
great book for all ages. Everybody needs to read this. It's a quick, easy read. It's not something like that's going to take you a month to finish. So
Right.
it's definitely it's just eye opening. It's eye opening, and there's so many gifts in here. Um,
And that's what I said too. Like, dang, people that don't even like to read, they like, man, I finished the book in one night.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
absolutely. And that's a great style of book to write, because you're not asking anybody to commit to all of this time to 700 pages like Stephen King. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But one of my favorite chapters, well, I love the whole darn book, honestly. I have one favorite line, which I'll save for a minute. I loved your in the beginning, which I would love to read that whole darn chapter for everybody. But
Yeah.
something I wanted you to talk about, I was in the, what chapter is this? I think it's the college chapter. Hold on. Yeah, chapter 5 in college. You said, so you started in this chapter, you talked about when you started going to Bible study, and then you had a opportunity to speak, and you came up with your own topic called "Don't Run Away from the Call." And you said so many people were blessed by that, and you were asked to teach multiple messages after that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? The "Don't Run Away from the Call." What was that? That stood out to me. It was like that's where Brittany started to really feel her wings, you
Well,
know?
actually, this brings me to another point. That was actually inspired by my best friend who is now deceased because he was actually bullied at work, and the video went viral on Facebook, and he actually committed suicide.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's why it was
Wow. I'm
so
sorry.
passionate to me. I was talking to him about his purpose, and reminding him that he had a purpose. He had some mental health challenges.
Mhm.
So during that conversation, we were talking about calling and purpose. And I said, you know what? I got a title, Don't Run Away from the Call, telling him don't run away from what he was called to do, and different things. So that's how that came about.
That's crazy. I hate hearing that stuff. I really do. That just the thing, if people could understand how far their words and actions go, both for the positive and for the negative, if we would just take some more time to think about what's coming out of our mouths
Yeah.
before it's there, you know?
And that's the thing too about faith. What you speak out of your mouth, you got to be careful, because power of life and death is in the tongue.
In the tongue, that's right. I know Dr. Deborah says that one all the time. Dr. Deborah
Yeah.
says that one a lot.
So I mean, you got to be careful what you speaking. But yeah, a lot of this, he is actually the one that pushed me to go ahead and write this. Um, because even though he just died in August, but
Oh, that was recent, huh?
yeah, so
Jeez.
that was my best friend, and he was there for a lot of these moments. You know, he was when I had my first, speaking engagement. He was encouraging me, and he knew that I didn't really want to be in the college setting, because I knew that God was calling me to bigger and better. I knew that he was calling me to write books. I knew that I was going to be on somebody's movie screen. So it was faith to tell the teachers, look, this is not enough for me. Y'all not going to keep me in this box.
Right.
I know that I can do more. So that was faith.
Gosh, you got me water working over here. I feel, I don't even know the word for the emotion that I'm feeling right now. I mean, I feel like I'm feeling your sense of loss for your friend.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I am so sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry that you had to go through the stuff you went through, but to have to lose somebody to that is, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So the fact that, I went through bullying and had a friend that went through bullying and different, this stuff is really serious.
Absolutely.
And in this book, it's a lot of stuff that, people don't want to talk about in this book. People don't want to address, and all the questions that people might have. I mean, this whole book took a lot of faith. I mean, like towards the end, I didn't even add the dating section until the last minute. I only had 5 chapters written, and I was like, I want to add the dating chapter, but I'm scared to let.
Don't be scared. I'm glad that you did. And I'll tell you what, my favorite line in your whole book, I'm going to read it, is in that chapter. So
Well, yeah. I mean, so I wrote that chapter scared of what people was gonna think, scared of what of me. I wanted people to know that I was still human, but the human side of me was scared, and that took a lot of faith. Faith
and
the size
courage.
of mustard seed. Yeah, that took a lot of faith, a lot of courage.
I have to, again, that your book took a lot of courage. Like I said, I think part of the reason is that I wept so much when I read it. Again, I know you, I know who you are. I know what a beautiful soul that you are, and the bright, infectious, beautiful queen that you are. Um, but I got sidetracked there. I'm like working through some emotionals over here. Oh, okay. So you had mentioned things that like I never thought about that, like you would have to struggle with. You had mentioned, I wrote some of these things down because I was like, oh my gosh. You had mentioned in the book that when people ask you to go places, like you were getting kind of tired of the same questions and the same things that you had to deal with every time somebody invited you everywhere. You have to ask, like, well, how am I going to get in there? Is there stairs? How wide is your bathroom door? I didn't,
Yeah.
that one stood out to me. I was like, I never thought, if I invited Brittany over, I don't know how wide my bathroom door should be. Like, I would never think that would have to be a struggle, but this is,
Right.
I'm not living in this. So to open that up, and the fact that you said you'd never had a pedicure. You've never had a pedicure before because due to the cerebral palsy and the way your muscles tighten up and the way your feet curl up, you're embarrassed about that, and you've always been kind of like, ugh. You've always been afraid to show
Right.
you off. And like you said in the beginning, like you're not real happy with God for creating you the way that you were. But all these things that you had to go through, you just the simple parts of getting to point A and B and all that. Again, like I I can't even imagine having to think about all those things for just a regular want to
Yeah.
come over or want to go here, want to go there, but yet you've got to go through this whole checklist. Tell me that's not loaded with faith. Tell
Yeah.
me that journey is not loaded with faith. And Brittany, you've had to go through this your whole life, right?
Right. And
So,
for a while, I was isolated. Wouldn't want to go anywhere.
right.
Wouldn't want to plan any events because I'm like, I'm not doing all that. So to even be able to plan and to be able to think it out, that took faith because I didn't even want to think. I didn't even want to like function. And it's like it took me speaking to myself and praying every day and my support system to get me to realize how important my story was.
Was and is. It still
Right.
is. And I have to say, again, with the dating chapter, I loved everything in there, but I thought the coolest part was the end. I'm going to read this last paragraph here
Okay.
because I just love it and I love you.
Okay.
All right. The last little bit, the last little bit of Brittany's book really sent it home, and it should show you guys exactly who she is. But it says, sometimes I push people away. I often assume the same things a lot of women assume, the stereotype that all men are the same, that they only want one thing. They usually do. I am tired of starting over, but I have decided that I need to give myself time to really heal. There are a few things that God still wants to do with me before he sends my God ordained spouse. A man does not have to validate me. He should only complement the beauty I already have. That part, he should only complement the beauty you already have. And once I finally see myself the way God sees me, I'll be ready and I will be unstoppable. My favorite line, my prayer is that God sends me the man that has a love for him first. Then I will know he will be equipped for the assignment. Ugh.
Oh,
I love that. I love that you put in there. You want a man that complements your beauty, and if he loves God first, then he'll be equipped for his assignment with you.
Yeah.
You know, not like you're an assignment like a chore, but the
Right.
assignment of caring for your heart, your soul, your spirit, lifting you up, you know?
Yes.
Ugh, Brittany finds the beauty in everything. She really does. Where there's a will, they say where there's a will, there's a way. I say where there's a will, there's a Brittany. Uh,
Look,
I love it.
some days it is not easy. I literally smile through everything. Like, you know, my most important thing, my most infectious thing that I'm known for is my smile.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Your smile and your laugh, because you laugh a lot too. You
Yeah.
are a very smiley and laughable person. And again, that's why I don't know why the word infectious always comes to mind when I think of you or when I talk to you, when I describe you to people. Infectious is always one of your descriptor words. You're a person that somebody sees smile or hears laugh or hears speak for the first time. And there's nothing but warm, beautiful light that happens in the soul, in the heart, you know?
Right.
And I think like your bravery and courage that you and faith that you have embodied all through your life, it shows. You wear that on your sleeve, you know. And for me to read this book and see everything you've gone through in your life and what you still go through. I mean, I've gone through a lot of stuff too. I've been abused. I've had alcoholic family and been
Seriously.
abandoned and all this stuff too. But I feel like my faith is mustard seed faith compared to your mountainous faith.
Listen.
You're gonna climb that Mount Everest with no problem. This one.
And I feel like, I could have used all of this stuff as an excuse. Everything in this book, I could have used it as an excuse not to be who God called me to be. But I chose to take it and execute faith and show people that they can make it through no matter what. It doesn't matter if you can't walk. It don't matter if you got one arm. You still capable. It don't matter if you blind. You can still do it. You know?
That and again, like you had mentioned in previously in our conversation, I have to go back to it. When you said you were frustrated and upset with God, for you having to go through all this, right?
Right.
Um, but again, we go back to his timing and believing that, he's a good father and he wants what's best for us, whatever. Brittany, do you think that if you weren't bound in a chair, that if you didn't go through all these experiences through school, through life and all that, do you think that your faith would be as strong? One. Two, do you think that you would be making the beads? Three, would you have written the book? Would you be a prayer warrior? Would you be the Brittany you are now that is changing the
Probably,
world on a daily thinking basis had you not been put there?
probably not.
Probably not. And the world would be missing the Brittany, right? We'd be
Right.
missing those prayers, missing the prayers, missing the book, missing the lessons.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's why I wrote my book. Your lessons, the stuff that you go through, you're not the only person in the world. And for everyone out there that thinks they got it worse, there's someone else that's got it even worse. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like your
Dude,
story matters.
there's somebody out there that got it worse than me.
Oh, yeah. There is always somebody that's got it worse than you, but your story matters in sharing. I am so grateful and appreciative that you took the time to write this book. I'm so grateful and appreciative that I was pushed to write my book and was able to share all these stories with people because the point of it is we all need to have faith. We all
Right.
do have faith in something or another.
Right.
My dog's having dog dreams back there crying. But we have to see each other's stories in order to I mean, our stories become our legacies. That's what we leave behind for people to learn from, grow from, be better from, and know that they're not alone. So again, I think both of us writing our books, it took a lot of faith, it took a lot of courage, and for us to keep showing up and sharing that stuff, it encourages other people to share. And the more we all share, the better off we all are because sharing is caring, right?
Yeah, and I just want to say somebody need to hear your story. Go ahead and write that book. It don't matter if you don't have the finances, the resources, because
Have
we
faith.
connect you to the right resources and the right
Mhm.
people that will help you
Yeah.
get your book out. You just gotta have a little bit of faith.
Hmm.
That's all it takes.
And excuse me. I apologize. Um, I would like to, um, before we roll out, I would like to share a poem from the book that may give us a nice high note to end on. And I'll also let you know before I get in on that. So today is the eighth episode, right? I texted you that last night.
Right.
Eight. Interesting. Okay. So eight is the number I think most people know is the number that symbolizes infinity. You turn the eight on its side and it's like that
Yeah, new
infinity
beginning.
symbol, It also is supposed to be balance, mean balance and harmony. There's a lot of interesting facts on eight, but this one I thought you would like, Brittany. While I was reading up on all of them, did you know that the number eight is mentioned in the Bible 73 times?
Wow.
I had no idea either. They had some really cool tips in there. I'll have to send you the link. There was all kinds of really cool. It was a link that said the meaning of the number eight, both prophetically and biblically. So you got all of the meanings in there. But I thought that was neat. I'm like 73 times they use the number eight in the Bible. Who knew?
Oh my gosh. I just knew eight meant new beginning.
New beginnings and infinity and balance and harmony. And yeah, it's a blessed number.
Yeah.
And we're having a blessed conversation today. I thought this was divinely perfect here. And
Right. It
also,
was.
too, another thing I learned about you, too, before I read the book, I didn't know you were a dreamer. I am a huge dreamer. I always have been since I was a kid.
Yes. I
I
had
thought it was
visions.
a curse. I thought it was a curse for a long time. I'll tell you what, man. Some of these dreams I be having, I wake up feeling like my arms, my legs, everything's sore. I'm sweating like I was there. I went walking
That's
around in
how
my
this
sleep,
book came about. I had a dream. I had what you call prophetic impartation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh God gave me a prophetic utterance, and I just moved on it. I said, God, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but again, I had faith. I
And you did do it. And you know what, Brittany, because of the beautiful light and soul that you are, I think, a lot of our friends will put the same message out there that like you attract, like, what you put out there is what you attract to you.
right,
You are very blessed to be in, I don't know your whole circle, but I know several of the people we have mutually in our circles, and
right,
they're great, amazing, beautiful, empowering, faithful, inspiring, encouraging people. It's because of who you are that you're surrounded by that. And
yeah,
you have a great support team. So I'll tell you moving forward, if there's ever a seed of doubt in your mind, just give me a phone call, give any one of those people a phone call because Brittany girl, you can do anything. You
thank you so
you've
much.
proven it. You prove it over and over and over again every day that you show up. But this book, this is never going away. This is forever a legacy. This is your legacy. This is all your lessons wrapped up in a book that is now your legacy. That's going to light up the whole world from now to the end of time. It's because of
Yeah,
who you are that you have people surrounding you, pushing you, cheering you on, saying, we believe in Brittany. We got Brittany. You know why? Because Brittany's got me. Brittany believes in me. Brittany prays. Brittany's Brittany. Brittany's got beads, man. You know?
it makes me emotional because I'm just like I'm so thankful, like so thankful, like and like you said, this is a book that's gonna go round and round and round and round forever and ever and ever. Like it ain't
That's
going
right.
nowhere. It's
I saw I saw on I heard Lisa was saying the other day you were pimping your book at the beauty salon while you're getting that blue put in there, huh? I take mine to the grocery store. Whenever I'm shopping in the grocery store, I have it sitting right in the front. I have it open, and sometimes people are like, "What? Are you reading while you shop?" Like, no, this is the book I wrote. You want one? You want one? You need a Christmas present? Take it.
yeah, I sure will, man. I go in the hair salon, they buy it up. I'm like, thank you.
Well, I definitely am going to order myself a couple more copies because I do have friends now. I've read the whole book. Like I said, I'm working on my second round of it now. I've read the whole book. I've shared it with my kids, and again, I have been shocked and enraged by some of the stuff in there. I have cried over some of the stuff in there, and I've smiled and I felt empowered by some of the stuff in there. It's a
Right.
blessed, beautiful book that everybody needs to read, and I'm grateful beyond measure that you wrote it.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to read a poem from my book. And then after that, we can chit chat a little bit more. And I'll let you, if you've got anything final you want to leave everybody with, and we'll remind everybody where to visit you and purchase your books and your beads and contact you for prayers. And
Okay.
then sign off and have a beautiful rest of the day in faith, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. This was wonderful.
All right. So this is called Just Look Up. I know, Brittany, you've probably heard me read this one a few times, but
Mhm.
um, it's probably my favorite one out of the faith chapter that I wrote personally.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I wrote it specifically for this book. There are pieces in my book that came from when I was in my younger years, or, a new mother or high school or whatever. I never get rid of writing because it always has a purpose. Anything that comes out of us has a purpose. So I save it. And when the purpose and when the time comes, it will serve its
Yeah.
purpose.
That's the perfect poem for today.
All right. This is Just Look Up by Melissa Price out of Lessons We've Learned, Legacies of Life. Just when you think it's going to be all right, you didn't give up and you won the fight. A blow comes through and knocks you down, stealing your thunder and seizing your crown. We all make mistakes, but this one was bad. It dampened my spirit and it rendered me sad. I struggle and fight for what's right every day, but falling short is common at this day and age. I know that I'm favored by the Father above, so what can I do to portray his great love? Try as I might, I just seem to fail at finding the wind that propels my sail. Life is a journey with its ups and downs, and what would it be without laughter and clowns? Without screw ups and sadness, worry and grief? It's all these moments that season our beliefs. If we were created by a love so pure, so unconditional, magical, unthought of, and obscure, how small are the problems that eat us alive? They haunt us and taunt us, yet they push us to strive. No matter the mountain, the rift, or valley, when God speaks his word, his troops always rally. You're never alone, so don't ever give up. When you need a sign, please just look up. It could be sunny one moment and then stormy weather. But when he comes through, boy, it all comes together. In the midst of the rain, the sorrow, and pain, if you feel like there might be nothing to gain, just look up. This simple act of faith is all you need to do to be reminded every day of what he promised you. There will always be a rainbow high up above because he has afforded you his undying love. So if you're feeling lost or cold, forgotten, meek, or mild, remember he created you and that you're his precious child. If your feet have failed you, find the strength to get back up. You'll find he gives you everything when you just look up. So, yeah, that was my little tidbit on faith there. I find myself doing that often in life. I think one of my biggest struggles, uh, fortunately, it's not a health related issue. It's not coronavirus or anything like that. Our biggest struggles have been financial for the last couple years for many reasons, lots of accidents and surgeries and things like that that have transpired that we couldn't, plan or prepare for. And so one of my biggest acts of faith is looking up for provision,
Mhm.
and trusting that no matter how much my husband's freaking out, we can't pay the mortgage. I'm like, chill. God's got us. He always provides. And sometimes it's not
Right.
$1,500 in the mail. It might be something else that's gifting you and freeing up things, but he
Right.
always provides. It might be
Yeah.
a meal brought over by a neighbor and you didn't, now you don't have to go spend that extra dollars at the grocery store because your neighbor came by and cared for you. And
Right.
that's God's way of providing. Now you don't got to deal with this
God
and you can
is
put your funds where they
Jehovah
need to go,
Jireh.
you know?
God is Jehovah Jireh.
Right. Like
Yeah.
God shows up in different ways, you know. You can't
Right.
just be looking for that paycheck and, for you can't be looking for this one particular thing. We can't be tunnel vision with it. I think if we don't have faith, we have the blinders on. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I think when we have faith, it's blind faith. Walking blind is faith, I guess,
Right.
in a way. Kind of I have to process this. It's all things coming into me at the moment with the whole faith and blindness through it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say thank you a million times over for joining us here today, and thank you for writing your book. Thank you for the feeds. Thank you for showing up every time that you do. Thank you for sharing your story, sharing your smile, your light, your love with the world. Brittany, you have made a huge impact in my world, the kids' world, and many other people that have hopefully got to meet you for the first time today.
Right. Thank you.
Is there anything you want to leave the audience with before we sign out in regards to faith and you and your world?
I just want to say, whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. All you have to do is have faith the size of a mustard seed, and it can
That's
be
right.
done. Speak to those mountains, and you basically tell the mountain what you want it to do. You don't let that mountain defeat you. You defeat the mountain. Um,
That's right. You tell that mountain to move. Say, get out the way. Get
and
out the way.
yeah, that's pretty much it. And basically, I just want to say you can find motivation and inspiration for your life at brittany'sbeads.company.site.
It's
Brittany.
right on the bottom. It's scrolling right below brittany'sbeads.company.site. And if you need prayer, reach out at reach out. I've switched over to your email down there. Reach
Yeah.
out to Brittany. You can find her on Facebook at Brittany Thomas or email her. If you
Yes,
need
at
prayer, she is happy to pray for you.
at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
BL.
BL Thomas 1996 at gmail.com. And she's a wonderful person to have a conversation with. She will definitely pray for you. And her prayers, boy, is there power in her prayers.
Thank
And
you
yeah.
so much. Yeah.
So as everybody heads out for the rest of their day, we want to say we both love you. And find the faith.
Hey,
Little bit of faith can move those mountains, baby. So
yes.
we will catch you guys live again tomorrow at 2. It will be, I think it's just me tomorrow. And we're doing success, I think. But we have 3 or 4 more guests coming up next week. So I'm excited about that. And if
Yay!
you'd like to get your own copy of Lessons We've Learned, Legacies of Life, please visit lessonsandlegacies.company.site. If you want to get in touch with me, if you're interested in being on the show and sharing your story, sharing what you do, your business, your art, your writing, if you sing, if you play music, if you want to talk about anything in the areas of love, faith, laughter, resilience, or success, and you want to come have a conversation and share your story so that it can be a legacy that the world can learn from, just reach out to me. Find me, Melissa Price, on Facebook. You can also email me at lessonsandlegacies@gmail.com. Visit the store, lessonsandlegacies.company.site. And if you want to check out any of our other episodes that we've done, we are on YouTube as well. So Lessons and Legacies on YouTube. So we love you guys. Thank you so very much. Remember,
Go grab your
we've
copy
learned
of
Legacies of Life. And I'm Living My Blessed Life with Cerebral Palsy by Brittany Thomas. And don't forget those beads, man. These are extraordinary stocking stuffers. All of these things, you would be a double blessing to shop from us, because not only are you blessing the person you're giving this to with inspiration, love, faith, empowerment, but you're blessing us because we're sitting at home trying to do our business, during the midst of pandemic too. So you're validating us. You're giving us more faith to continue putting our stuff out there. So be a double blessing and visit our stores and shop from us this holiday.
Right.
All right.
Amen.
Well, I love you, Brittany. I hope you have a blessed rest of the day. Thank you guys all for joining in again. And we will catch you guys tomorrow at 2.
Later.